I or how should you be looking for places to find fish? This is the forecast for y'all for the next, well, through the 13th of next month. It's the 29th right now. As you can see, wind is our problem. All out of the south, 18, 19, 20. And it's just going to stay up for the next 2 weeks. So especially if you're from out of town and you don't get the areas or don't get the time to fish these waters a lot and kind of know where fish hang out, even in bad weather or good weather. So once I've looked at the actual weather and kind of see what it's going to do, whether I'm actually going to be able to fish at all, short of it raining, I mean, you can find somewhere to fish. For Rockport and Aransas Bay, we're kind of unique in where we don't get a ton of tidal movement. Like this was today, 0.22 feet to 0.4 feet. So you're talking about 2 or 3 inches of tidal movement a day, which is not much. Yesterday was kind of a slack tide. We caught some keepers yesterday evening late, but I mean, there was not much tidal movement. Tomorrow it's going to be a little bit better, but even then, you're talking about 0.41 feet above normal sea level, and then moving an inch or 2. So this is going to be a really slow moving tide. It's an incoming tide, and then after the day, it starts falling out. So in theory, if you can catch some spots, that evening fishing may be a little bit better. You'll get a little bit more movement. So this would be the second thing that I look for is what's the tide doing. So when I take those 2 factors in, the tides and the wind, I'm looking at a couple things. One is obviously which way is the direction of the wind. So basically we're going to have a south-southeast wind. So the wind's going to be roughly kind of blowing this direction, which means obviously like Trailer Island is going to take a pretty good beating in the afternoon as that wind picks up. Anytime you have water running through here, Redfish Bay, South Bay, you're going to get a little protection right here by the shrimp boat channel, but most of this is going to start rolling pretty good, as well as out here in the ocean if you fish any of these little gas wells. So we talked about the tide's going to be coming in. So typically that tide's going to come in, it's going to start pushing water down here, down here, down here. So I try to find places in the morning when I know there's going to be a little bit of tidal movement. Let's just say I want to fish Mud Island. There's a number of different ways you can fish it. You can come all the way through the Illidan Channel and come down through here. You can get, if that tide's coming in, it's going to be kind of flushing water through these little guts into this little pocket. It kind of narrows down. So you could come all the way up in here. There should be, in theory, fish kind of hanging around here. It gets a little muddy. Some of this stuff you'll find is a little harder to wade than the others. But I try to find these areas that are directing this water as much as possible with as little tidal movement as we get.
Hey everybody, we're doing a little fishing today. Fishing Fridays, welcome back. So what we're doing is we are over here in some of these flats, and we got our drift sock out. I think it's like a 36 or 48 inch drift sock, and we're getting way upwind of all these sand holes and everything, and we're just drifting over them about as slow, so that way we can pitch each one of these sand holes multiple times. We've tried different baits. Right now, being this time of year, you got a lot of small mullet, and I don't know, I mean, my opinion is if you're trying to somewhat match the bait, so we're going to a little bit smaller. This is a little DOA white with a little green paddle tail, and we're just drifting through these flats. It'll probably take us half an hour, 45 minutes to just drift all over this. We've already caught, I don't know, probably 5 to 10 little juvenile trout and 1 keeper. There's another good trout. Starting to whack it. Right out of one of those potholes I was telling you about. I could see it in the sun came out for just a minute. This is a pretty decent trout. We got a new trout limit, 17 to 23, and he just snuck right in there. He would definitely be a keeper. We're not keeping any. We haven't kept any trout really all year, but good healthy fish right in those potholes like we were talking about. So